People have been asking me quite often in the comments to compare these two machines. This is the Meraki Espresso machine out of Shenzhen, China, and this is the Ninja Luxe Cafe Premier out of Massachusetts, or at least that is where the companies sit. Of course, both of these machines are made in China. Now, these machines may be similar in that they are both all-in-one coffee machines. They have the grinder and the brew group, and you can steam on them, but they do differ also quite a bit. So the first thing, of course, is price. The Ninja Luxe Cafe is about $500, whereas the Meraki Espresso machine right now on Kickstarter is $1,100, and if you wait until the Kickstarter is over, the MSRP is going to be $1,800. So that is about 3.5 times the price for the Meraki over the Ninja Luxe Cafe. Of course, the heaters are also much different. In the Luxe Cafe, you've got a thermal block heater. It's a 1600 watt heater. It sits here right on top of the brew group, which is nice because it has two functions. One, it heats up the brew group after a little bit of time. It's already getting warm. And it also has a nice spot up here to heat your cups. So that's a good thing. On the other hand, the Meraki uses actually two heaters. There's one right here for the brew group. It's a stainless steel boiler. And it also has a larger boiler for the steam one. I believe it's 550 milliliters. So thermoblock technology, boiler technology. So the fact that the Ninja Luxe Cafe has a thermoblock does also give it extra capabilities. Besides making normal espresso, it can also make a cold pressed espresso, and it can make rapid cold brew. Another thing this does that's unusual and kind of nice is that it can make cold foam. On the other hand, with the boiler technology, I do kind of prefer espresso coming out of boilers. That's just my personal preference. I do think that these both do a good job with espresso. And while we're on that subject, I think the main question in people's minds is, how is this espresso between these two machines? Is it worth it to pay 3.5 times the price for the Meraki once it hits the market over the Ninja Luxe Cafe? I wouldn't say that the espresso is 3.5 times better. I think that they both make a proper espresso. They both come with non-pressurized baskets. That was a big surprise for me with the Ninja Luxe Cafe. But of course, it is more filigrane. It's more granular in the settings here. On the Meraki, you can set up exactly the temperature that you want on the display for the PID within the brew group. On the other hand, with the Ninja Luxe Cafe, you've only got 3 settings for temperature. You've got low, medium, and high. Now, Ninja Luxe Cafe does claim to have temperature regulation as well as pressure regulation. I have not found the thermal probe inside, but I do believe that there is one hidden underneath the thermal block somewhere in there. With all that being said, I think that they both do a fine job, but if you want to do a lot of experimentation with espresso, if you want to do lighter roast beans, if you want to really have control over all the parameters, certainly the Meraki is the way to go. Talking about the companies, Ninja is a company. It originated in Canada. It's since moved to Massachusetts. So that's where they do, all their operations and design and everything. Build is in China, but it's a huge, very successful company. Meraki is a new company out of Shenzhen, China. And that company is offering this on Kickstarter. So there is a difference in feeling there. The Ninja Luxe Cafe is already available, although it's selling out often because it is so popular. Whereas with the Meraki, you're going to have to wait, and because it's on Kickstarter, it is a bit of a gamble. On the other hand, they are sending these units out to so many people, and they're listening to user feedback, and they are making new iterations of the machine. So I do really feel like they're going to fulfill the promise of selling the machine. But of course, Kickstarter, it's a gamble. I think it would make sense to look at not just the fronts, but the sides of these machines. Okay, so here are the 2 espresso machines from the sides. And what else you notice is that the Meraki's got nice handles here, which is super nice for turning and moving. The Ninja is completely devoid of handles, makes it a pain in the butt to turn around. Okay, so that's what they look like from the back. We got a really large 2-liter water reservoir on the Meraki, and we got a 37-ounce here on the Ninja Luxe Cafe. Now, a lot of people are probably also wondering how's the build between these two, because they both do include quite a bit of plastic. I mean, really, both of these machines use a combination of ABS plastics as well as metals. Let's start with the Meraki. The casing, you know, the entire casing of the machine here, that's all plastic on the Meraki, and I think that they chose plastic in order to be able to choose the color that they want and the shape that they want. The base is also plastic, as well as, of course, the water tank. It does include metals, of course. This drip tray is aluminum. This deionizing grinder spout is aluminum. On my model, it will become stainless steel. The brew group up here is aluminum. On my model, that will also become stainless steel. And also, this part of the brew group it's anodized aluminum, and it's been made to match the color of the lid. The lid is plastic currently, should become aluminum. Same over here on the steam one. That lid is also plastic. But as you can see, quite a decent mixture of plastic and different metals. On the Ninja Luxe Cafe, we've also got plastics. We've also got a plastic water tank with a sensor. We've got a metal steam wand, which is stainless steel. Same thing with the Meraki, of course. I forgot to mention that. We've got here a metal cup holder, metal drip tray, and we've got a portafilter, which is also a proper one. It's robust. That's also made out of metal. This one's 53 millimeters, by the way, and the Meraki is 58 millimeters. They both offer displays, of course. The Meraki offering a touch display with different parameters, and the Ninja Luxe Cafe offers a different kind of display. It is not a color display, it is not a touch display, but it does display the information that you need, broken down into the sections of grind, and then your espresso or coffee, and then your milk froth. Something else I should mention before I go further is that the current version of the Meraki does not include any pre-infusion. It's supposed to include it in the production model. The Ninja Luxe Cafe does include pre-infusion, which is a nice thing. They also both include the 3-way solenoids to be able to remove the pressure off the extraction when it's finished.
Getting value from this video? Please take a moment to like and subscribe.
They both also employ scales. So what's nice about the Meraki is you've got a scale underneath here. So for your grinding, you got a scale, and also for your extraction. So you're actually doing a gravimetric extraction, which means that if you're aiming for 36 grams out, it's going to pull the extraction until that volume has been met, or rather that weight has been met. On the Ninja Luxe Cafe, they also employ a scale, which is super duper nice, and that's over here in this grinder cradle. So you put the portafilter in there, it tears out, and then it's going to dose out the amount for the double basket that's in there. And for me, it's very consistent. It's been giving me just about all the time 17.8 grams. Let's just talk a moment about espresso ratios. You can set that up here on the Ninja Luxe Cafe. And an espresso ratio is nothing other than a recipe for the espresso. You'll hear often 2 to 1. And what that means is you get a 2 times yield of the coffee powder in. So if I'm putting 18 grams here in the basket and getting 36 out, that would be the 2 to 1 extraction. And that is often what you want for a kind of darker roast beans. You can also set up a 2.5 to 1 ratio or a 3 to 1 ratio, which in this example would be 54 grams out to 18 grams in. And that's something that's usually a little bit more attuned to something with a lighter roast. Let's talk a minute about value. I have to be honest, if somebody's asking me which of these machines I like better, it's going to be the Luxe Cafe, mainly for 2 reasons. The biggest reason is the value. You know, for $500, you're getting a machine that can make a proper espresso, a machine that you can also practice your milk steaming and your latte art on, a machine that will even allow you to do cold foam. It will allow you to do brewed coffee. It has a lot of capabilities, and that all for $500. Of course, the Meraki is the nicer machine aesthetically. It's fancier. You can set up exactly the amounts that you want because you do have the 2 scales. You can set up the PID temperature as you want. So it's more advanced. The steam wand is way better, big time. But it's 3.5 times the price. So you're basically pushing a lot of the demographic out of the market. So of these two, this is the one that I'm more delighted by, simply for the fact that it offers so much value for the money. And I should add as a disclaimer, you know, I got both of these machines for free. So they sent me both of these machines so that I could review them, but they're not paying me anything for the reviews. And I will tell you one thing, you'll know how much I like a machine just based on how many videos I do on that machine. So I've already done a ton on the Ninja Luxe Cafe, and I should tell you that I'm very impressed by it. Meraki, also very nice, but that's hitting a certain user group, a smaller niche of people who are willing to pay a higher price for a more premium product. I would be remiss to not talk about the grinders. So the Meraki includes a grinder that's been developed by Time War, and it is on my model. It's currently stepped with 30 steps. It's a smaller conical burr grinder. The Ninja uses also a smaller conical grinder with 25 settings on the side.
All right, so let's go ahead and compare the burrs. This on the left is the inner burr of the Ninja, and this one on the right is the inner burr of the Meraki. And you can tell they look very, very similar in their design. And in fact, to me, they look almost indistinguishable. The cutting edge does go up a little bit higher there on the Meraki in comparison to the Ninja. The size is almost the same as well. The Ninja is actually slightly larger, as you can see there. Now, if we look at the outer burrs, this is what they actually measure. So you can see also that the cutting blades are a little different on the Meraki in comparison to the Ninja on the left. And if we measure these, what they do is measure on the outside of the outer burr. So it's about 39.6 millimeters on the Ninja, and we got about, and on the Meraki we got right about 37 millimeters.
All right, guys, if you've made it this far in the video, do me a favor and either write hashtag Luxe Cafe in the comments or hashtag Meraki, depending on which of these two models that you think is better for the price. I think at this point, let's just go ahead and do workflows on both. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start with the Meraki. I'm gonna choose my grinder and 18 grams. Now, of course, the advantage with the Meraki is that you can brew and steam at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to see how that expedites the process. Brew. Alright, so you see that that was a very expedient, well, very nice process there. Got a nice tasty shot there. I'm using a bean that gives me quite a bit of nice dark chocolate. In this case, it's a little on the sweeter side. Sometimes I get a little bit of almond or something like cherry. Kind of goofed it up at the end there, but nice creamy milk. That's going to be a tasty cappuccino. So that is the workflow there for the Meraki Espresso machine. Let's try it on the Ninja now. The Ninja Luxe Cafe can also steam automatically. It's got a really cool whisk inside here. that spins the milk for you, and it steams to heat it up. So it does do that, does a pretty good job, but I prefer to do it manually. All right, so I just have to put on my funnel there. I'm gonna stuff this into the cradle. It's going to tear out the scale for me. Let's go ahead and grind. All right. The Ninja Luxe Cafe does not come with any tools for fapping, no WD-T or anything like that, so I'm just going to give it a good tamp like that. Stick this in the machine and see what kind of shot we get out. And start. Oh, there we go. It's starting to look pretty good. Okay, so it stopped at 43 grams. That is just a little bit over a 2-to-1 ratio, but that's all right. So it's close, but it's not as accurate as the gravimetric dosing. But the taste is very pleasant. In this case, I'm also getting a good amount of dark chocolate notes. I'm getting something that hints at cherry, and it's pretty well balanced. So let's go ahead and make ourselves the milk foam. Now the Ninja admittedly is much slower at doing this. You first have to hold the button down like that to get it to engage. And the steaming itself, it takes a little while. So I'm gonna go on the other side and do the steaming. All right, there we go. Just gotta add some air into the mix and get it churning, as you can see there. And then just keep the milk pitcher on position and keep incorporating. Okay, it's plenty hot. Just finished this auto purge there, and we got some nice creamy milk here. So it's definitely possible on the Ninja. Oh, ooh. I made that milk a little bit too thick there. As you can see, not the prettiest design, but it makes really nice silky milk as well. And as far as the rest goes with the latte art, that just comes down to practice. That comes down to getting just the right consistency. This one's thicker, but it's going to be really good on the tongue. Very tasty texture for me. The latte art, you know, that takes practice. All right, so Meraki Espresso Machine, Ninja Luxe Cafe. I would say that it's certainly easier to practice latte art on the Meraki than it is on the Ninja Luxe Cafe, but they both are capable, and with enough practice, I think you can do it on either. All right, guys, I hope this video is helpful for you. And if so, give it a like. If you thought that it was terrible, give it a dislike. Whatever the case, until next time, I wish you happy coffee drinking and happy espresso drinking. Bye now.